The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Aging Horizons. We have a special guest with us today, and today we'll be discussing why advocacy matters for 50 and older. She'll be discussing some of the important points. You don't want to miss these points, because stay tuned and we will be right back.
Did you just text me?
I didn't want to disturb you if you were sleeping.
Sleeping? I'm sitting right next to you, silly.
There you are. Hey, I found a couple of Medicare helping programs online that I think we ought to look into.
It says if we qualify, we can get help paying for our prescription drugs. Oh, and there's a program that can help pay our Part B premium.
To learn more about extra help and Medicare savings programs, call your local SHIP counselor today.
Maybe I better text him.
Someone who said they were from Medicare called and asked for my personal information.
I noticed a charge on my Medicare statement for a test I don't remember having.
I got a letter offering me free medical equipment if I gave them my Medicare number.
Something didn't seem right.
It seemed too good to be true.
If something seems odd, it's probably fraud. Call Senior Medicare Patrol at 800-551-3191 to report fraud. This project is supported by a grant by the Administration for Community Living.
Here in Montana, we love our outdoor activities. Unfortunately, few of them are risk-free. Indeed, Montana is second in the nation per capita in head injuries that can destroy the lives of people we love. That's why you should insist your family always wear protective helmets. But you can do even more. When you fill out your vehicle registration this year, circle the Y and donate $1 to support traumatic brain injury prevention and education. Now that's using the old noggin.
Today, class, we'll be discussing the term ombudsman, a word we borrowed from the Swedes and never gave back. Say you're a resident or you have a loved one in long-term care. Now, what do you do if you're not happy with the care and services you receive? You call your long-term care ombudsman, of course. Your ombudsman is available to support you and your rights. An advocate on your behalf could be the ticket. This is your home. If you have questions, the numbers right there below me have all the answers. Class dismissed.
Welcome to Aging Horizons. This is a program brought to you by the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services. Today, as our special guest, we have Christine Page Nye. She's the Government Relations Director for AARP Montana. Welcome to the show, Christine.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So we're talking about why advocacy matters. Tell us about why does it matter for 50 and older?
Yeah, it matters because lawmakers from city council to the state to federal every day make decisions that impact our lives. And you know, the 50 plus are our largest contributors. They've been working their whole lives and paying into Medicare and Medicaid, Medicare and Social Security. And yeah, there's a lot that we have to prepare for as we age that decision makers that we elect make for us.
And you know, there are lots of voices competing towards policy making and all of that. Why do you think 50 plus must get involved to get their voices out there?
Yeah, great question. Because if we don't, somebody else will. Right? There are so many things that, at the federal level to the state level, that need funding. And if we're not there talking and educating lawmakers about what the 50 plus needs, then, yeah, who will? Right?
I hear you. If you don't, who will? You're right. So let's look at, I know you've had some big wins lately. What are some of those big wins you've had with policy making and lawmakers and all of that?
Yeah, I mean, AARP, we are known to advocate for the 50 plus. Correct. And we really believe that people should age where they want, how they want. And most people want to live with dignity, independence, and they also want to be financially secure.
Yeah.
So we survey them all the time, our members and the 50 plus in each of our states. And we hear time and time again that here in Montana that they're concerned about property taxes and affordable housing. So we really worked hard this legislative session and are happy to report that the legislature and the governor signed a bill that will provide relief for property taxes.
Okay.
Yeah, for the primary resident. And we should also let your viewers know, if you are a primary homeowner, by October 1, you need to file for that rebate. And they can find more information. There's a $400 rebate that they can apply for. And if they go to our website, aarp.org/Montana or MT, there's links to where they can find out more information about that.
So I know there was another big win about 50 plus staying in their homes. You were able to, AARP was able to make that happen. You want to talk to the audience about that?
Yeah, part of that is the property tax, right? Because if we can reduce the property tax rates, it makes homeownership more affordable. There was also an accessory dwelling unit law that passed that allows for counties to change their zoning so that more of those granny flats or attached apartments can be created so that there's more affordable housing opportunities in Montana as well.
So you have a website that I want the audience to get the website. So let's put it on put it below there. Great. So what's that website you want the audience to get?
Yeah, our main website is aarp.org/MT. And from there, you'll be able to see all of our legislative wins this legislative session. There will be an article on that, and we'll take you to more information, all the different bills that we followed. We followed actually about 41 bills this session. And four of our 6 priorities were passed.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So clearly you're saying advocacy works.
Yes.
Because if we can come together and advocate to our leaders, we will be able to find changes and we will be able to make changes.
Right.
So great. I want you all to stay tuned because we will be right back with more information from Christine Page Nye. She's the Government Relations Director for AARP Montana. Stay tuned and we will be right back.
With as many as 1 in 10 Americans at risk for Alzheimer's or some other form of dementia, chances are someone you know and love will receive that diagnosis. When that happens, you may well feel devastated, but know that you are not alone. Help is available. You don't have to face dementia by yourself. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
Out here, we love our animals, from the wildlife to the livestock. Inside, it's the same. They're just like family. We keep them happy and healthy, most of the time. Secondhand smoke puts pets at risk for cancer, feline lymphoma, vomiting, increases the risk of tumors and lung cancer, even causes eye and skin disease. Secondhand smoke puts your pet's life at risk.
Hey caregivers, did you know that respite time is your time? How will you spend it?
Respite is really perfect for things I like to do, but my son isn't interested in.
Vicki Henry, Manhattan.
Gardening isn't one of his favorite things, and he knows and likes his caregivers a lot, so it's a win-win. Or even something as simple as a bike ride becomes possible when I know that someone I trust is with him.
Montana Lifespan Respite. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it.
It's good for both of us.
I was diagnosed with diabetes in 1992 and I went into denial. It made me angry. I was a professional chef and I didn't want to change my eating style. It took me a long time to get serious about managing my health. My perspective changed from resentment to one of loving my body, the container for my spirit. Getting help from my diabetes educator supported my goals of improved self-care. I want to feel good and have a great life. My diabetes educator helps me do this.
Hello, and we're back. We've been talking to Kristen Page Nye of she's the Government Relations Director for AARP Montana. Kristen, let's talk into volunteers and relationships. And I know you said there's power in numbers. So, I know you work with people from all across the state. What kind of impact are you having?
You know, we are having an amazing impact, and it's really because of those volunteers that we have and all our allies that are in the communities working with people who want to age in place, and for them to be able to share their stories with their local legislators is really powerful. You know, otherwise, when we're asking for funding for the area agencies on aging, it's just a number. But when they can see what that impact is, how many meals that's going to provide, how many people can receive home services, that is really powerful. And I'm happy to share, because of that work, because of the, you know, there were 2,500 emails that went into the state legislature this last session, almost 1,000 text messages about all of our different issues. We're happy to report that because of this partnership and our volunteers, we were able to help increase the funding for the area agencies on aging by $4 million for the biennium, which was really great. Yeah, and also increasing the rate for Medicaid reimbursement, which may not sound like much, but if we don't pay folks that work in the homes enough to keep them in those jobs, then we don't have people to care for our folks.
Right. For someone who's watching, who's never been involved, how do you convince them to take that first step?
Yeah, you know, I think it's really important for folks to realize these legislators put their pants on just like you and I, right? And they're real people in Montana. Our legislators, they have day jobs, and they're retired, and they rely on their community members to educate them. So yeah, what I say is you don't have to be the expert. You just have to have the passion and the courage to talk to your lawmakers. And the good news is AARP, we don't let you do that alone. We help you know, make sure you have the information you need and any training that you need, and yeah, so that you feel confident when you're asking your legislator to go for a cup of coffee, or if you're calling them on the phone.
You know, it's very intimidating, you know, because some of us think they're way up here on this pedestal, and so how do you make them feel comfortable enough to say, okay, I'm going to take that step. I'm going to go and have a cup of coffee with my legislature?
Yeah, usually we don't start them out there. You know, we encourage them to get involved electronically as a e-advocate, we call it, so that they receive information, and if it's an issue that they are concerned about, they can send through our link an email into their legislator. And so that gets them more comfortable with the process. And then again, we just provide training. It's really important for me to visit with our volunteers to see where they're at, what they're comfortable with, and you know, work with them on what they want to work on to educate their lawmakers and advocate.
So walk a first timer through the whole process. I've never done this before, Christine, and I want to be able to do it. Walk me through that process.
Yeah, you know, I don't think it looks the same for any one person, but you know, if you were coming to me and said that you would really like to get involved, I would say, great, let's talk about it, and I would sign you up. ask you a little bit about what you're interested in, maybe what issues that you're interested in helping support. And then we would just make a simple plan of, attending our weekly during legislative session advocacy updates, where we share what's going on for that next week and what our messaging is to the lawmakers, and then give opportunities for volunteers to reach out.
Okay, great. And quickly, I want you to talk about Medicaid expansion and how you guys were involved in that. In 1 minute, let's hear it.
Yeah, so, we were able to help pass Medicaid expansion. So now moving forward, we don't have to go back to the legislature every year. A lot of people don't know, but there's about 18,000 50 to 64-year-olds that are hardworking, low-income Montanans that really rely on that. So it was important for us to make sure their voices were heard, and that the legislatures understood that it's really important for them.
Wow. So that's great. And so for us who don't know, because in the rural areas sometimes TV is difficult, radios. So how do you really reach them? Do you have representatives all in the rural areas? How do you reach the rural areas?
Well, we have volunteers in lots of different areas of the state, but our goal is to have at least one volunteer in every Senate district. So we're looking to build out that network, and again, providing training and so on. And how do we reach them? We reach them through conferences like what you and I are here at the Governor's Conference on Aging, networking with councils on aging and Missoula Aging Services, for them to help us identify volunteers in their communities that can talk about how wonderful their programs are and how important those programs are.
Great. So stay tuned. We have more valuable information for you. We'll be coming right back, so stay tuned.
I was outside working on some equipment, nothing too strenuous. I started sweating and feeling out of breath.
When he felt pressure in his chest and aching in his arms, I knew we had to call 911.
First responders were there before we knew it. 38 minutes later, the doctors had restored the blood flow to my heart.
Now we know dialing 911 saved his life.
Your life is on the line.
This message sponsored by Mission Lifeline Montana.
Hey, caregivers, did you know that respite time is your time? How will you spend it?
When the weather's good, I gotta get away for some fishing, and that's a must.
Fred Dahlbeck. Clancy.
My grandson tells me we suck at golf. Fun though. And there's never enough time to keep the old 57 Chevy happy.
Montana Lifespan Respite. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it.
Come on, girl.
You've probably seen some big-name celebrities on your TV lately talking about all the Medicare benefits you're missing out on. But the insurance companies who are paying for these ads may be pushing benefits not available in Montana. Fortunately, help is available from a friendly state health insurance assistance program counselor who can help you sort it all out. It's free, and we screen everyone for eligibility regardless of your zip code. It's Montanans helping Montanans. Call today.
So we're back, and we're at the 56th Governor's Conference on Aging today, and we're right here in Helena, Montana. And our special guest is Christine Page Nye of AARP Montana. Christine, welcome back. So let's start. I know Social Security is on all of our minds, so what's the current situation? What is AARP doing?
Yeah, people have paid into this benefit and have earned the right to get those benefits out when they get to the certain age where they can start utilizing those benefits. Right. And what we're seeing right now is that if Congress doesn't do anything by 2030, 10 years, excuse me, we'll see about a 20% reduction in those payments to the benefits to their recipients. And so we have a full court press with our volunteers, like hundreds of thousands of messages going into Congress saying, these are hard-earned dollars that people have worked hard, paid in, and they should not have to worry that they're going to have a reduced benefit when they retire.
That would be a huge impact on every one of us who will be depending on that.
Yeah.
I hope you're really pushing for our people to go up to Congress and let them know we will be affected by it.
Yeah, and then at the state level on Social Security, we're going to be working and really educating the lawmakers that we're one of only 8 states in the union that still taxes Social Security at the state level. And by eliminating that tax or gradually reducing that will be really helpful to the 50 plus or at 67 when people
collecting.
start to retire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to switch topic on you here, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about fraud and cryptocurrency. I know you guys are working on, AARP Montana is working on that. So talk to us about what some of the steps we need to take.
Yeah, there is not one silver bullet to fix this problem, but let's just talk a little bit about cryptocurrency and the challenges. We are finding that a lot of people are being scammed and are being convinced to take money out of their bank accounts and put it into cryptocurrency ATMs. And there are things that states are doing across the country that we think we should be doing here in Montana. Mm-hmm. And it's putting some sideboards. Absolutely, cryptocurrency ATMs are legal, right? These kiosks are legal, and they have a purpose. But we need to make sure that there are limits on the amount of money that can be withdrawn in a day or in a week. And educating tellers, more and more about maybe somebody of a certain age is taking a significant withdrawal in cash, just to have a conversation, just to make sure that they're not being manipulated by some scammer.
Right.
Yeah, so we're looking at what would be the best legislation to bring forward in the 2027 session. Making sure that there's messaging on the ATM kiosk cryptocurrency that warns about scams. So just things that will give the person who's being targeted time to take to stop and think about what's going on there.
You bet. And I know AARP Montana has been very involved in guardianship and conservatorship. What are some of the improvements you've made?
Well, we have a lot of work to do here in Montana. What we did help pass in 2025 was a study bill. And this study bill is basically acknowledging that there are a lot of challenges with guardianship and conservatorship, to protect both the person who needs a guardian and also the person who's becoming a guardian. And right now, there's just not a lot of oversight on that whole process. So it's really looking at, taking this study bill will be before an interim committee, legislative committee, and just bringing forward those stories about what is happening and finding those solutions.
So in terms of having guardianship, are we looking at family members? Are we looking at total strangers? Who are we looking at?
Really good question. Both. Yeah, the preferred is a family member, right? And so we want to make sure whatever we put in place, we make it easier for the family member or the professional guardian to know what they need to be doing to protect their ward, right? And and we want to make sure whatever we're doing for licensure or for training, that those are not barriers to the layperson, the family member who wants to be that guardian.
So, and let's recap. I know you've had some big wins. We've talked about it earlier. And so, what's next? Will be your priority moving forward now?
Yeah, our priority moving forward is building out our volunteer network of folks who are willing to talk to their lawmakers, who are willing to send an email to their legislators. And if your viewers are interested, our website is on the screen. They go to that and they can sign up to be an e-advocate.
E-advocate.
Mm-hmm.
So you have physical advocate, you have e-advocate.
Yeah.
Man,
and then if they like what we're doing, they can reach out to us, and we would love to have them be a part of our volunteer leadership team. So that's number one. And number two is to really look at guardianship and conservatorship before 2027. That's when our next legislative session is. Yeah. And also to eliminate the tax on Social Security. We'll be working on several other bills, but those are our top bills right now. Okay. And then there is opportunities to work with us at the local level. AARP believes that communities should be age friendly.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And age friendly doesn't mean just for the 50 plus, it means for all ages. And what's good for the 50 plus is good for all ages. Right. So in several communities and counties in the state, they have adopted age friendly status. And that means that they're working towards more affordable housing at that local level, complete streets, and what else? Public transportation. Right. So there are opportunities to work at the local level, and all sorts of ways that they can get involved.
Kristen, thank you so much for all this information. And to my audience, I want you to know that there's still place you can get involved in. There are lots of work to be done. I want you to get involved because AARP Montana is asking for your assistance. Get involved. Until then, see you next time.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.